Boom,
Is it
shakalaka.
working now?
Will someone try and type something in the chat?
Kind
What's
of
up?
life.
There we
Cool.
go. There we
Okay.
go.
Now we're rolling. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. We've been pushing really hard to get the stuff ready for today's call that I want for this self-selling demo. It's been a long time since we released one of these, and it's back. So let's do it. Um, let us know in the chat if you're someone who is lucky enough to have access to V2 already. So let's get some V2s in there if you have V2. Otherwise, if you just have V1, no problem. We still love you. Put V1 in there. Let's see what people have. I'm gonna resituate my screens for us so I can get sharing. Austin, thank you so much for being here. Austin's been a huge help in the community, posting really good videos. He has access to V2 and he's already started training on V2 for database reactivations, primarily is what I've seen, killing it. So if you haven't connected with Austin already, if you haven't gone to his YouTube, do that. It's incredible. He has great content.
I really
Okay,
appreciate
I will
that.
share now. Downside of so many screens. Okay. Can you guys see the screen with Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart on there? Yes? Okay, cool. And guys, I'm gonna have my hands up like this a lot. I had a pretty bad injury in the gym a couple days ago, and my neck is on fire, but I did not want to miss this call. So I'm here for it. Took some medicine. It's really tight, but I'm ready to get going. Okay, so in here, this is what V2 looks like. I'm going to give you a quick rundown while we're here. We have our dashboard where we'll go to see message volume that we're doing through this account. If you are
Are you recording,
reselling,
Bryce?
um,
Oh, it says it's recording.
the
Sorry,
auto
sorry,
recording,
didn't.
yep.
Yep, yep.
No, good to check on that. This is where we go to see how much money we're making as an agency. If you have the agency plan of CloseBot, you'll have these white label client portals. Set up your clients and you can rebill through CloseBot V2. Sources is where we will go to connect to high-level sources or HubSpot accounts or webhooks. Eventually, we'll just keep adding more and more to this. Of course, you saw our AI providers. Oh, they're pushing an update. Perfect timing. Here we go. Our AI providers, this is where you go to plug in like the fuel for your agents. I have Anthropic and OpenAI plugged in here, but we also have Gemini, DeepSeek, and Grok. My favorite right now goes back and forth between Anthropic and Gemini for how they respond. OpenAI is better at parsing out information, though. We'll get more data on which ones work best. Users, you can add user seats, knowledge library. Let's go into our sources because that's really the first step. I'll be using this one, the testing company. That's a Go High Level sub account. But as you can see, we can click in here and click on HubSpot. Lead Connector and High Level are the same thing. Eventually, we'll have a long list of CRMs we integrate with. And then if you have clients that you're white labeling your high level to, they can come in here and they probably know Lead Connector, not high level. So that allows us to keep your white label. You'll be able to tell them to click Lead Connector here, even though it's the same. Once we click what type we want to connect to, we can just click to connect. And I'm just going to connect to a different one just because so you can see it. And there's a window that popped up that shows, it's not shared on this screen, but it shows me all the accounts that I can select from. And once I click one, it'll load in here. Click next. And then we're good. Source added. That's as easy as it gets to set up. No more workflow stuff. So really, really quick time to delivery on this. Okay, I'm gonna go into my agents. Now we have personas and job flows. A persona is like the person you're hiring for the job. Right now I have Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart, but let me create one that's more like realistic. I'll just call it Sam. Sam has some typos, breaks up big messages often. I won't do any how to respond, clarifying instructions, tone, concise, friendly. And then let's use our OpenAI as the primary and Anthropic as the secondary. And I could reorder these two. Create that persona. Boom, there we go. Now I started working on this self-selling template. I'm going to go in there and talk you through it. And I haven't tested it yet. And one of the actions just released a few minutes ago. So we're seeing some stuff that Austin hasn't even seen. And others that have V2 haven't seen. So that's exciting. We'll go into this self-selling one. And here's what I've built out for us. First of all, don't these things look sexy? It just looks so good. The dev team did a good job. Some updates in here now are ability to edit the workflow name, the job flow name in here, see the version. Eventually, this will be a drop down where you can go to previous versions of your flow if you want to like backtrack to a different version that you were working on that was doing better. And down here, we can see if it's saved. I can click it if I want to just save everything anyway. Test, publish, and then settings. So let's step through this. I have this start over here. Anytime you have a contact that engages in conversation, they always start at the start, always. So the first thing that's going to happen is we have this objective with three kind of sub-objectives within the objective. Objectives are different now. Instead of just being a single thing, it's really a grouping of things we want the AI to do. And the AI is free to do those things however it wants. So for example, in this one, we're having it get the person's name. It'll be saving it to the name field. Another update we're working on is allowing you to pick the output variable. So pick the high level variable, and we'll use AI to generate the title and short description for you. So we're getting the name, website, email. Actually, we're getting whether or not they have a website. So not their actual website at this point. So three things. Then I'm using an AI branch. So using the power of AI here. If they have a website, so remember we asked them and found out if they had a website here, but we didn't save it to a variable. I don't have a, oh, want that none. I don't have a variable for whether or not they have a website. So once it gets here, it'll look at what they said and then branch one of two ways. If they do have a website, let me spell this right. We want to get the website and save it to that field, the website field. Then here's a new part. I went and found an API that allows us to send information to it. And it's going to give back a response. That's what an API does. This one allows us to send a website, and it'll scrape and summarize the website. And then we can use that information now. So this allows you to go pull information from multiple different places, any place. This is your custom tie-in thing. So we have this webhook, and we're driving it to this endpoint. Let me tell it I want a long description. Oh, that's not going to work. This will be fine. Okay, if you don't know how to use API calls, custom webhooks, no problem. APIs or ChatGPT is your friend. Go to ChatGPT, and if you want to integrate something to pull in information from somewhere, talk to ChatGPT, and it can explain how you can do it. This one I put in there. I'll test it. And it will allow me to, so it pulled in the information, summarize the site. This can be customized to give a longer summary. I'm just doing a short summary for now. Now, once I save that, I can use that output anywhere else too. So let's use it in the important business information. Here I went into settings, job information. You guys are familiar with why the conversation's happening and important business information. I'm going to inject that variable into the important business information section. Okay, so we allow you to not only use all of the contact variables anywhere throughout the settings, but also the location variables and any outputs from these actions. So that was the summary action. I'm going to use the data summary in there and save. Now let's check out what happens if they don't have a website. Those are really some of the best clients for you if they don't even have a website. So we don't want to make this restrictive to them and only work if they have a website. So if they don't have a website, we're going to use AI to say something like, no problem about not having a website. Let me gather some info. Going to send you a short form to fill out, 1 sec. And it's not going to say that verbatim. I checked to use AI to generate that response. And then I told it to move on without a response from the contact. And now we need to actually send that form. So let me delete this. Put in another statement. And this one, I'm not gonna use AI to generate a response. I'm gonna send it exactly. And I made a form in high level that's just about the business. Let me show you, because this is a really cool trick. This is the form I made. I have email there hidden. What I'm going to do is when I send this link with CloseBot, I'm going to include that email address that we got from them. And I'm going to include it as a query parameter. I'm going to show you what that means. So when they land on this, they're not going to see that email section. It's just going to say about the business, and they'll fill that in. So here's our form. I clicked save, went preview, and then I'm going to grab the link I got here. Then I'm going to do a query parameter. You can search online on how to do this. It's question mark, email equals contact email. So that's a custom link specific to that person. So when they fill it out, we already know it was them. They don't have to fill out their email. You don't have to worry about them filling it out with a different email. It's going to connect to that contact in high level. No problem. Actually, I said we're going to send it in just a sec. So let's do the delay first. I did a delay of 3 seconds here and not allowing it to continue responding while waiting. So that's going to simulate a person taking some time to generate that form. There we go. Now we sent him the form. We waited a couple seconds. Sorry, I did it wrong order. Here we go. We told them we're going to send them the form, waited a couple seconds, sent the form. Now we want to wait for that about the business section to get filled out. So this is a really nifty action here, the delay variable. This allows us to pause at this point and either continue responding back and forth or not continue responding back and forth until that field is not blank. And we set up this about business field. It's going to update that field. So we're waiting for that not to be blank. And when it's not blank, we continue to the conversation section where it's just chatting back and forth. And at this point, we have role play information in here, the important business information. I put the variables about business and data summary in here back to back. One of them will be blank. It's going to be going on this path until it branches here. And either the summary is going to get filled out from scraping their website, or it's going to go this way. So either way, one of those is blank, and either way will be fine. It'll say role play information and then some of that information about the business. Now, so that's pretty cool in itself. But now we also have this custom scenario down here. If they specifically ask to book a demo, we want to get their email. And I know we already got it up here, but I want to do it again here, just in case they came in and said they want to book a demo right away. This is set up by default to skip if not blank. So if they got past this objective and somewhere in here, they were like, yeah, this is awesome, I'm ready to book, it would jump down here, not ask for email because it already has it, and then book our appointment. Now you guys are seeing some stuff in here, like this one, you have to hard put in a calendar ID or a calendar name. This is the kind of stuff that we'll be working on implementing before the 9th that's wide release. And this is also why we have limited people in here right now, because we really want to button this stuff up. But this will book the demo. And then maybe after the demo, I want to say a statement, or after the go high level booking is done, or I want a conversation to just back and forth happen. I could also just connect it back up here to this conversation. The reason why I'm not going to do that is because the goal is to get this person on a demo call. And after we've done all this, I put some extra prompt in here, just telling it at this point in the conversation, you're going to be sitting here chatting, role play, and see if they'd like to book an appointment for us to gather this. So something special happens now. We can have a conversation on this main branch and have it try to get them to do something that triggers a custom scenario. That's kind of what we're doing here. Okay, let me pull open the web chat. Let's ask some questions. So before we go on and actually test this, let's look at questions. Can we put a custom field value key instead of the actual calendar ID? Yes, you can. Yep. Actually forgot to update this. It's hard-coded right now.
I'm gonna bring some questions, Bryce, that people were asking to the top of the chat for you.
Yeah. Okay, backspace or delete button if you're on a Mac, yeah. Why using a form while you can ask it in the flow? So I could have an objective to gather business information from them, but they may say something that satisfies that and it would just move on. They might say, oh, I'm a roofer, and that would satisfy gathering information about the business, and then it would move on to the next objective, which is, in this case, sending the link, right? Or not link, we wouldn't have the link. It would continue on to the conversation, but they may have a bunch of stuff they want to put in there about the business. So just for that scenario, we don't want them to put in, I'm in roofing, enter, and then it to just save that in the field and then move on and not wait and listen for their other stuff. And I just wanted to show some of these extra actions, how they work. Why not use contact ID versus email in the hidden field? We have to map it somehow. I don't know if we can, and Austin, you might know this. I don't know if we can include a query parameter that's contact ID. I think it's just, we have to use one of their fields because then we can look at the query key that's here. And I don't know if contact ID is a standard one.
You would probably have to create a custom field and then have contact ID update that custom field.
But then it wouldn't map to the contact. The only ones that do that are the email and phone ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So let's go back here. I wanted to make a chat widget. Okay, we have one. Let's go make a website so we can test this. Try to refresh it so I can get a fresh chat. Yeah, I might have to open an incognito window.
I just learned something new today. I didn't know you could clear the cache on a tab like that, like you just did.
Oh yeah, yeah. Cool tricks, huh? Yep. I will open incognito and then I'll show this new screen.
Someone was just
Okay.
asking, is there going to be any documentation for the API call?
Or doing a webhook. Was that the question? The
They just
webhook action?
any documentation for the API call. That was it.
Yeah, we'll have help docs for all the actions. I've written 7 help docs for 7 of the actions so far, and webhook will be one of them where I explain how to do it. Oh, I still have Snoop Dogg connected. Should we roll with Snoop Dogg or do you want to do the normal persona?
I said roll with Snoop Dogg. See what he has to say.
Let's check it out. Yo, what's cracking, homie? Snoop D-O-double-G in the house. What's your name, playa? And tell me you got a website where that magic happens. Drop that email too so we can stay connected for shizzle. test@testing.com. That's a dope email for show. But I still don't know what to call you. Feel me? And drop your name on Snoop. And I'm curious, you got a business website where we can showcase your hustle, just trying to get a full price, you dig? Or a full picture, you dig? Sorry. It's Bryce. And no, I don't have a website. Let's try that first. And let's go back over to CloseBot so we can see this happening. Here we go. Nope, not that screen. Goodness, so many screens. Here, maybe? Okay, sweet. Go into conversations. I just want to show you guys this conversation on our end. So here we can see our conversation. We can also see like a quick synopsis of why it's saying certain things. It's telling us that it's working on name, has website. Already had the field set email. So we took logs a step further in this. I'd say a step back. We're giving you a quick rundown via this response reasoning if you just want to quickly see why stuff is happening, or you can see the full log as well. So let's see, what did it say? No worries about that website, Bryce, my man. Let me gather some information from you real quick. Gonna send you a short form to fill out in a hot minute. I think I made that one, so yeah. Let me show you this oopsie I made. So it did this. Oh, I did pick to move on. And I had this delay. Oh, whoops, I forgot to save this. Here's where the front end team has some work to do on the auto saving. It didn't save this, so that's why I didn't say anything after. Sweet, let's save it this time. Okay. Now let's go back to testing. New incognito window for us. Oh, that's the link. I'm getting there. Okay, we're back. This time I'll just give it all the information up front so we can jump to that. Really cool thing about V2 is the ability to ask about multiple fields and update them all at the same time. So that's super helpful. Austin, have you been using the multi-objectives?
No, actually, I have not touched multi-objectives.
You gotta do that, man. That's powerful. So it's not just asking one thing at a time.
Everything I've been doing so far has been all static statements. Now, when you so multi-objectives, so let's say
Yep.
you stack multi-objectives in one objective, because I'm always thinking like linear, like I want this thing to happen, then this thing to happen, then this thing to happen. When you stack objectives and multi-objectives, is it going to use AI to pick like which one comes first, or how does that work?
Yeah, it might ask for all of them at the same time.
Okay.
It might not. So that's where you're saying, hey, AI, I have all these things at this point that I need to collect. Can you just do that for me?
Hmm.
And it decides.
Yeah, that's way better than what I've been doing.
Yeah. Okay. It's still, so it did this. Don't know if I republished. Thanks, Jared. I didn't. Jared's probably just like Jared's uh developer. He's probably just cringing watching me do this and forget to do stuff. So the changes don't, they take effect after you publish, not save. So I saved the changes and that would allow me to go out of this screen and back, but I need to publish it so that those are live. And while I do that, let me go back to, let's do Sam. Let's do, yeah, let's do
Someone's
Sam.
asking, can we do a situation where the user can change their mind? Example, give one answer and then change it further down the line.
It'll never go back to the previous objectives and update that field unless you have a custom scenario to say like something and then jump, but no. And that's that's because the AI gets infinitely worse when you're having it watch a bunch of different things all at the same time. And that's why people love CloseBot because we don't do that, and therefore your AI is much more controllable. As the AI gets better, we'll be able to add in more tools that allows it to do things like that while staying as reliable as it is right now, but we're just not there yet. Okay, third time's a charm. New incognito window again. If any of you guys are testing things live and like to use the web chat widget, incognito windows are so clutch. Okay, doing this again. So see this, I changed the persona, and for some reason Snoop Dogg was more likely to ask about a bunch of things at once. Sam, I think I just put maybe concise and friendly. So it's trying to be more concise, and therefore it's only asking one at a time right now.
Someone's asking for the persona, can we have a client just upload their past messages to have the AI talk exactly in their voice?
No, it's all prompting. And that goes back to what training is. Anytime you're training a model, it's really prompting on the back end. So even if you did do that, what we would do on our end is look at what you uploaded and try to generate a prompt that hits on those high notes of the conversation. And it still wouldn't probably hit it exactly. Um, you guys and me included can't really train a model. That's what OpenAI and Anthropic does. And that's what you do with like big uploads, trying to get it to sound like that. Okay, here, so it sent the form. Me go to ChatGPT and have it generate a random business. Okay, it's generating a plumbing company business about for me. So fill that in. Let's see. So we're just chilling here. If I type OK, I have it set up so it um, can still respond while it's waiting, I think. Yeah, I do, but it's not responding. Jared, can you check that out? I have selected that it can still respond while waiting on this one, and it's not doing that. But let me go ahead and submit that. Jared, I think I broke it. Jared's on it. See, this is why I want to show off a lot of the new stuff, because it also gives me a chance to test it. The 9th is coming up quickly, and we want to make sure we're ready to go.
You do have someone asking, how big is the text area to set in the like when set also on personas, how big is the text area to set that as that's a struggle that they're having with restrictions on V1?
Um, I think 500 characters. And same sort of thing, guys. We do this on purpose. We're trying to force good habits. If you feel like you need more than 500 characters, if you feel like you need more characters in a field we've given you, you're probably not using it correctly. So in that area, that's where you want to say like never use the person's first name. Um, like be concise with your responses. It doesn't take much information to put in there. Yeah, it stopped. So let me go into conversations.
And Greg is asking, could you ask it to be more conversational while being concise and friendly?
Yeah, that's where if you guys have seen the Why Did My Bot Say That article, we're really just building a prompt for you on the back end. So the how to respond, that shapes it. Those voice styles, that shapes it. And to say, oh yeah, this input always makes it sound more like this. That we it's more of a combination of that, how to respond and the voice. And you just have to play with stuff. And it depends on your uploads. Like it all kind of plays together. This really has to be a fluid testing thing. Jared, this was a typo problem. I had no words long enough. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a tech issue. I'm gonna go back into, I'm just gonna share this desktop. There we go. I don't have to switch back and forth. Let's go into the contacts. About business. See how we got that plugged in. And that's what it would be using. And now it's on the just chatting back and forth. Oh, interesting. Have any of you guys had this problem where high level doesn't send the message to the chat widget?
Yeah, sometimes there's a delay in the
Yeah, and it's going to make me refresh here. I love using the chat widget to test stuff, but yeah, I have noticed that sometimes. So when I said okay, it did respond here and here, but here it's just hanging out on that chat. Let's test out that custom scenario to say, so now it went down to that custom scenario, detected I wanted to book a call, and it's trying to book it. Okay, now let's go that other branch. Let's go back to our agent and let's test that new webhook action. That'll pull in the summary. Yeah, there's the appointment. Sweet. And time zone stuff. Excited for this one. Oh man. And if that fails, you go to a new, so I'm going to go to a different Chrome
yeah, sometimes I've had to open up a
profile,
completely different browser.
new Chrome profile, new window. Let's get this thing rolling. We have a question. When we use Go High Level to send custom values such as business description, products or services, and social profiles scraped from a website, so essentially what happens when you go over limit, we have a bigger limit when you're using variables to account for that. Jared can confirm what our actual about the business section character limit is on the back end. This time it asks multiple. So this will be interesting. So it's taken me down that path. The have a website one. Okay, Jared's time for action here. Maybe Where's that website field over here? Okay, got it. I'm guessing this is looking for https:// like that. I didn't know if high level was going to send us www or https. Test again. So you guys can see how just the level of
Jared said make sure you hit publish after you made that change.
Jared, we need some UI around that. Like something up here that says you have like unpublished.
Someone said, will V2 be able to disqualify any lead at any point in the conversation if they fail to meet any requirements of any objective, like without having to do all the custom field and workflow thing in
Oh
GHM?
yeah. Like maybe if they don't have a business website, we wanted to disqualify them. Instead of doing these extra actions, we could just have it stop responding at that point or send a goodbye and then stop responding. You guys have full power to route it and then stop responding or continue. Okay, now I'm just trying to get another new window.
Then he said, on the same idea, can we qualify immediately?
What's meant by that, Rich? If they meet certain criteria, yeah, you just use the objectives and then they're qualified. I'm still not clear on the question. Austin, maybe you have some input for Richard?
Yeah, I don't understand the question either, Richard. A and B are really important and C and D are less important, but would allow qualification. So if A and B are, don't ask.
Yeah, that's the power of branches. You can have an objective to get your important information and then say like, if this or this, do this. If not, do this. Okay, so it pulled in that information. It knows about my business. I could ask for an appointment demo here. Let's go clarify some information with some build stuff for people. I'm gonna have to do another self-selling demo when I fix some of these and figure out what people are actually doing with their self-selling demo and what scenarios they want me to build for. I like this where we can use the form in some cases if they'd rather give us information on the form or conversationally obtain it. That's really cool. But we'll get that webhook honed in, and our share link is going to be available soon. So when you make a bot, when you make an agent, you'll be able to share it with people and they'll get that into their account. My goal is to get one of these made that you guys can copy into your account and doesn't rely on high level so that you don't have to set up any fancy custom fields or anything in high level. It would just work. You would install it and it would work. That's the goal here. Let's go back over here. And I'm going to build some answers to questions that we had. I can show you the job creation. This is to answer some of your guys' questions. I can add it to a group, so you can start to group these or create a new group. I'm not going to add that one to a group. This is a high-level agent, and I could choose to connect it to a source at this point or not. I could do that later. I'll choose not to do it. And then I can create from scratch, from a template, from an AI prompt. They're fixing this with some of the updates we made. I'll just do from scratch.
One question I've gotten a couple of times is what's the
Yeah,
difference between connecting a high level source versus a lead connector source?
they're exactly the same thing. We
Okay,
just mention lead connectors so we can be within the white label compliance of high level.
got it.
But when they click it, just like, yeah, high level is lead connector. So qualification. Not the conversation one. Maybe we are, oh, I always grab that one. I don't know why. Objective. Let's have, what do I want to do? Let's do contact. Date of birth is the only one I can think of that we could like really qualify on. That's a standard field.
Someone's asking a question that they get often is, does this remember answers and get smarter as it continues to go on?
No, and thank God it doesn't. Let me explain that. These models that get smarter, it's all prompting. So always remember everything is prompting. Really what it's doing to get smarter is it's taking the answers you don't like and dynamically changing the prompt that you put in that you want to match what your thumbs up and thumbs down are. And the AI is just not good at modifying things correctly based on your input. So it would change the prompt and change the behavior, usually in ways that are undesirable. The goal with personas is the vision I have. You know, we have our standard providers that you can pick. Doing a sort of custom provider, like OpenAI allows you to fine tune their models, and that's where you actually do upload a bunch of question and answer pairs to actually modify what the model sounds like. And that's where we could allow custom AI providers with your fine-tuned models there. So maybe we want to get birth date and then branch. This is another thing that is changing. We're going to have a friendlier input. Right now it's all text input, but this should work. If the date is after January 1st, 1990, maybe it passes and it'll go this way. Otherwise, go this way. And maybe we can only sell this product to people who were born before that date. Don't know why. At this point, sorry, you don't qualify. Using AI to say that. Or, congratulations, you qualify. Hopefully that answers the lead qualification question. Any other questions in there that I missed, Austin?
Yeah, someone just asked, so there's two. Let's go back to, so Justin just asked, Bryce, is there a way to have a persona with a variable name? I often set up agents that have the same persona, but the client likes to choose the name.
Yeah, we do support the variable name for the persona. It's just not friendly search like this. And we'll have that in our documentation. You'd use like bracket and then whatever your variable is.
And then someone else asked, is it possible to track how many people press on the link that CloseBot sends out?
Yeah, that would be your go high level setup, like, or other setup, because that doesn't, we don't track that kind of stuff. That's more of a CRM thing.
So they could put, but they could create a trigger link inside of high level and then plug that into a static statement.
Trigger links are dynamically generated per contact, so that wouldn't work.
Oh, you're right.
But you could, at a certain stage in the conversation, create a trigger link and share or and save it on a contact as in a custom field, and then have it pull from that custom field. Kind of a hacky workaround.
You could, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then you would know when they click. Yeah. Let me show you guys real quick too. Some people may be thinking, well, if there's no workflow, how do I limit what it responds to? I skipped over this when I was setting stuff up, but you can filter by tags and channels. So if I wanted this one only to respond on live chat, or maybe live chat and SMS, and then I want it to not, we always include this as a default. You can't remove that. AI off. If it has that tag on the contact, it won't reply. But maybe we also want it so that we're requiring they have the tag CTA and not the tag AI off. So using this, you can filter what it's responding to and what it's not responding to. Okay, other questions, guys? Thank you so much for bearing with me.
Um, So I have a client wants a list of items. I did have someone ask earlier. I'm gonna break the question down how I understood it. What is the best way to set up a knowledge base for a client that has like an e-commerce website
Where things are changing
where things are changing? Yes.
right now, our Jared, does our website do daily scrapes? Let's wait for Jared to chime in on that.
And then someone says he wants a list of them he buys and a list he sells.
Every 24 hours, we re-scrape the site and check for changes and then republish those. Oh, great. Now my camera went off. Well, it lasted most of the time. Yeah, so every 24 hours, it'll get updated if you scrape your website.
Someone says, I have a client that buys, oops, I have a client that buys items. He wants a list of items he buys and a list he sells and route the user based on which list or item they are on. Can't figure out if I should use objective, switch, or branch.
Did he say he knows ahead of time what,
Um, I have a client that
or is he
buys,
conversationally determining which product?
He says yes. Craig says yes. He
Okay,
does.
if you know ahead of time, you can just use a switch and you can even use it right away, right at the start, switch, and based on the value of a custom field that designates the product, do your qualification in different ways. Yeah. And Mike, you don't pay for each website scrape.
And then Justin says, one of the most difficult things I've found implementing with V1 is having some interest detection for DMs, so the bot only responds actual leads and not random people commenting, especially Instagram where reactions and such clog DMs. Now that we have multiple custom scenarios, do you think we can use that to kick off the conversation when we detect service purchase interests, service or purchase interests?
Um, hey, Jared, can you step in and answer? Could we have a stop responding be the first action after start and then just have a custom scenario for interested? So is the desired behavior that they come in the conversation and say, "Hey, what's up, friend?" Like they wouldn't get a response at all. But if they messaged in, yeah, okay, Justin. Yes, let's wait for Jared on answering that. If we can have the stop responding and it still jumps to a custom scenario, even if it's at the stop responding, then that would do it. So guys, this is huge. There's a lot here. It's not just an update, it's a full blown transformation of CloseBot, how it operates, what it can do. And there are no other drag and drop builders built like this that lean into the quick and easy part. So this is, you see how this is built specifically for conversation. We do things in our order of actions specifically for that. Use this for your conversational automation and not high level workflows anymore. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to hop off. Thank you for bearing with me today, despite my neck pain. I'm going to keep cranking away because we have deadlines to meet. But
Can I ask one more question, Bryce?
yeah, please.
Hey, everybody in the chat, really quick. If you got any value from this from Bryce today, just type yes in the comments. Real quick, blow it up. Blow up Bryce and Jared, both of you,
Oh,
both of
I
them.
love that.
Everyone.
Hey,
Let's go. Let's go.
thank you
Let's go.
so
Let's
much,
go. Let's
guys.
go. Let's go. All right, I've got one more question for every single one of you that commented
Okay.
yes. Um, if if you have a bot build in mind, any type of bot that could be built live where Bryce builds it out and shows you step by step how to do it, what would be in a perfect world the bot that you would want built? Drop it in the comments. E-commerce bot, Mike says. Our skip hire bot. Awesome. Anybody else? Roofing. Bot that fixes V2 bugs for me. Jared.
From
Awesome. Anybody else? Anybody else? This is your time. Roofing, wellness, real estate, qualifying booking bot with human handoff.
wow.
Awesome, 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 awesome.
Got some work. We got some work to do.
You guys literally have 30 more seconds to like put whatever type of bot you would want built out right in the comments. And who knows, someone might build it and you might get access to it at some point.
Hey
Awesome.
guys, really important. Our annual plans go up by 30% tonight. It'll happen probably 8 p.m. Pacific time tonight. So keep that in mind if you've been wanting to get that annual plan locked in at the lower rate. Do it now. It's going up. Um, keep an eye on your email from CloseBot. Make sure we don't go to spam because we'll be emailing people who are getting V2 access. We're going to do a huge wave on allowing migrations probably starting tomorrow. So check on that, get scheduled, and let's go.
Shannon asked, does the monthly plan change pricing?
No, that base monthly plan price is staying.
Sweet.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Sorry about the camera. Thanks for being good sports. I love all your comments, and I'll talk to you soon.